morning to all Express International students. Our subject today is Introduction to Management of the Fundamental Management punya subject kan. So for the learning objectives for this topic will be concept management, management function, managerial performance level and skill of managers, Mintzberg managerial rules. Okay, this is the 5 topic that we're going to teach you for today, the learning objective. Okay, what is management? Management is the process of administering and coordinating resources effectively, efficiently, and to achieve the goals of organization. This is the statement you need to go through, then you can understand. Okay, but keep this statement in mind. So, organization. What is organization? A group of individuals that are made of people, which 2 or more people who work together. So any people, 2 of them, 2 or more, we call it is an organization. Yeah, and an organization must be 2 or more people. If 1 people, they cannot be an organization. So the management structure identify the roles and responsibility of the job to ensure every worker knows their job description and responsibility. They also know whom they have to report and to refer. So if you got 5, 6, 10 of you in a group of organization, and then you must have the management structure. Who's the boss? Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Okay, this example we'll go through later on more detail. Third, organizational goals. They have goals to achieve. They are interacting with each other to achieve a common goal or to set up a goal. Goal, biasa you learn goal apa? Main bola lah. Football. So you too, what is the football achievement? They just want to score goals. So goal here is the same goal, meaning that means it's an organization. What are you going to score? What are you going to achieve? In the football field, they want to achieve to score the goal. Here, same thing. In the organization, 5, 10 or 20 of you, what are you going to achieve? That achievement, we call it goals. Simple as that. So then example of organization, for example, if you're talking about organization, like say hospital, so this is a big organization. We have from top to bottom, 1,000 people working down there. Yeah. So more than 2 or any maximum amount, so we have an organization. School like UiTM. UiTM is a university, also an organization. School, also organization, but there's a small scale. This example we're talking about what is organization example. Okay, measuring managerial performance. Professional performance efficiency. The ability to do things right and efficient. Manager is a manager who can achieve output, result as expected. Manager who are able to utilize and minimize the cost of resources such as staff, finance, equipment, and raw material. Here we are talking about you're completing a job. You're completing a job. Let's say in a factory, they want to make a furniture. Perabot furniture. You're making chairs, table. So the organization have to work together. From the manager to the carpenter to the machine handler, everybody have to work together and see to the output of the chairs and table. But the question here, how much cost did you use to produce a set of chairs and table? So this is the cost that you have to calculate. If your factory can produce chairs and table at a cost of 1,000 ringgit, but another factory produce the same table and chairs at 800 ringgit cost, so they are more efficiency than your factory. This is what we're talking about, the performance of efficiency. Example we'll go through later on more example. Then performance of effectiveness, the ability to choose the right goals. Example, if the demand in the market forecast is from small, compact, economical, but the manager choose to manufacture big, luxury and expensive car, the manager is considered to be ineffective. What is this performance effective? There's a car, but let's say I go back to the furniture. In the furniture factory, the manager choose to be a very high-end furniture with a very expensive material, but the market in that country only for the middle income, because not many rich people in the country. Let's say you're selling furniture to a country, for example, Africa, where they are third world country, and your manager choose to produce very expensive furniture, high-end furniture, top performance quality. Can you sell it in Africa? You can't, because down there they are third world country. They can't afford to buy the very expensive furniture. So here, the performance of the ineffectiveness of the manager is in question, because they produce a furniture with high end and sell it to a third world country which they can afford to buy. A very good example, I give you a good example, simple example. You produce a refrigerator. You know refrigerator, where you keep all your ice and box and everything, and you export to Iceland. You know where is Iceland? A country, Iceland, northern pole there. Do you think you can sell a rice refrigerator to the Iceland? They are a gold country. They have all the ices already. So if that the manager choose, then the manager is not effective in his job as a manager. This is how you measure the manager function or the manager performance. Okay, so in the function of the manager, you have these four basic things. This almost every exam question will ask this thing. You take note of this topic. There is planning, leading, organization, control. PLOC. Keep in your mind. There's always one question in exam about this four functions of management. What is planning? Yeah, include defining the goal, establishment strategy, development plans to coordinate the activity. So before, let's say, the manager want to produce the furniture or cars, yeah, so they have to do the planning. Normally they have to do the drawing first. Even in cars or any manufacturing product, they have to have the drawings of the product they want to produce. So that stage we call it planning. Yeah. Then the next step, the manager have to leading the people to produce the product. Determine what tasks are to be done, who is to do them, how the tasks to be grouped, who reports to whom, and where decisions are to be made. Here, actually, the manager is organizing his team, leading his team in the production of the product, the cars or the furniture just now. After the first stage of planning, everybody agreed on the design kind of thing. So now the next step is to do the production. So they have to lead the teams of people in the organization to produce the product. Then the third part is organizing. It includes motivating, subordinate, directing others, selecting the most effective communication channels, and resolving conflict. So after the lead, now the lead they have to organize. So organize each person what is their roles in producing of the furniture. And you have mentioned there what are the channels, how to communicate with the workers, with the technician, and all kind of thing. That part of production we call it organization or organizing. And then the last part is controlling. What is the controlling part? Monitoring activities to ensure that they are being accomplished as planned and correcting any significant deviation. Deviation means any mistake lah. So the job of the manager will have to control now to see all the people in the organization is going to produce the furniture as per the planning. If any mistake, anything deviation in the process, that's the job of the manager to oversee and correct it. So this is the four function of management. In any type of organization, these four functions cannot run away. Okay. So in managerial level, normally we have top level lah. First is the lower management team, then the middle, then the top management. Lower level mean just above the technician. Below this management will be the technical people, the technician. Yeah, they are the people on the floor on the factory. Management above, they don't really work on the floor of the factory. They are the one planning and above in the management team. Yeah? Skill of manager. So as I said, we need to know different factory need different people. So for example, car factory. So we need technical skill, ability to use the procedure, techniques and knowledge of specialized field. Sure, if the car manufacturing, they need to know a lot about car engineering, car mobility, all that kind of thing to become a technical manager of the factory, of car factory. If furniture, that means they really need how to know about the furniture production, the technical spec of the furniture, whether you doing furniture using timber, whether you using furniture using plastic or using steel, then different kind of technical skill need to be as a manager. Then you have the human skill. It's a skill that gives the manager the ability to work effectively with other people. It includes the ability to motivate, understand, lead, and communicate, which a manager needs throughout his work. This human skill is the most difficult thing as a manager, because you need to motivate people to work. Some people are lazy to work. How are you going to motivate them? You must have the ability to motivate them, and then to understand their problems, and then how to lead, and then how to communicate with them is another thing. There are many channels of communication. Later on, when you learn of business communication, and you see there are various types of communication. If the manager communicate wrongly, then the people may not produce the specific that you need to produce the product. So this is quite a tough job as a manager on the human skill quality as a manager to produce the product in order to work together with the people to achieve the goals. Conceptual skill, they are mental capability that help managers see the whole enterprise as well as relationship that exists among the various party of the organization. So in organization, they have so many section, the manager section, the technical section, the production section, finishing section, marketing section. So as a manager, they need to understand all this kind of section. They need the skills. If the manager cannot understand the marketing concept, they cannot understand the production concept, that is very difficult. I give you a real example. I run business, so I know I can give you a real example. For example, people doing marketing, people who sell the product, people who sell the car, people who sell the furniture. It's very difficult because when they produce the car, you need to do the marketing. So the marketing people need to spend money. The marketing people need to spend money in advertisement, in promotion, give free sample, all kind of thing. That a lot of cost. But this money that they spend does not give the return in the same year. Maybe a little bit, but it may give return in the long term. So there's always a fight within the accounts section and the marketing section. It's the real story. Yeah? It's not theory. Because the account section, they give you 500,000 to do marketing promotion. They expect there's a return from the 500,000 ringgit in that same year. But marketing cost, everything you spend 500,000, they won't make the return in the same year. They will make the return in the next year or the future year. So in your account in that year, it shows you spend 500,000, but maybe you sell one or two car because you just do the promotion. So all these things have always conflicting between the marketing section, the finance section, and also sometimes the production section, because they produce a lot of car, but they cannot sell. So as a manager, you need to understand all these things. You need to have the skill, the conceptual skill. so that you can solve the problem within the financing section and the marketing section because of the non-performance of the certain of the section. It's a complicated thing. The business is not easy. So business is like going to war. You see how the war difficult to win over your enemy? The same thing happen in this business. You can understand that is business all about. Business is actually how you want to fight your war to sell your product. Because in competition, like cars, furniture, there are thousand other people manufacturing furniture, thousand of other company manufacturing cars. So you have to fight the market from the other competitor. So when you fight, that means you really go to war. So you must understand about this marketing and business concept, how you want to survive. It's not easy, straightforward business. If business is easy, straightforward, everybody do business. Nobody want to work with the government, right? Nobody want to work for people. Why should work with people? If business so easy to make money, you tell me. I'm doing business 46 years already. Still, I find it certain skill I don't have. Still learning daily. That's what I can tell you. I used to give a lecture to young people who want to start business. Those days, 20 years ago lah. So I told him how I achieved to that level in 20 years time. It's a very long time. I have to go through all the difficulties. So when Joker put his hand up and asked me a question, you already experienced 20 years. That's how you come to this level. Can you teach us how you can reach to this level within 5 years? Really Joker pula lah. I have to go all the difficulty for 20 years to reach that level. They're asking how I can teach in 5 years. If that can be done, then everybody professor in the world, why they still teaching university? Ask the professor to do business lah. You ask the professor, very simple. They teach all this theory. You ask the professor whether they can implement the theory outside or not. Theory is one thing, practical is another thing. That is business. But you need the theory, you need to learn the theory. You can't do business without any knowledge of theory. That even worse still. It's some sort like you're going to a big pool without any life jacket. So with this knowledge you have, at least you have a life jacket. But whether you sink or not in the pool, still with the life jacket, no guarantee. Okay? Okay, this Mintzberg manager role. Okay, this is some of the acid 3, the theories professor talking. But you ask Mintzberg to do business, I think he will do business also. Until today, Mintzberg don't do business. Interpersonal roles. Help manager in managing the organization smoothly. As I said just now, the manager mix with different section of the organization. The account section, marketing section, production section, finishing section, purchasing section. So if the manager don't have the interpersonal role, can understand all the other section, and then he cannot become manager. So to become manager, you must have a very good interpersonal role so that you can understand all these people from different section. Because all different people from different section, they are different people. They are different thinking. They are different personality. So you don't understand this, then you cannot become manager. That's what Mintzberg says, which I agree lah. I'm not saying that is wrong. Information role. Assist manager in receiving and communicating the information to make the decision right. So as a top management, you need to assist your people down you, your assistant manager, your supervisor, to communicate to them the right thing so that they can understand you and make the right decision. This is where we have the problem, communication. Top management pass the information to the lower manager. They didn't understand well. Explain to the lower manager. Was still this fellow also don't understand well. In the end, what you get? You got bad things product. Because why? The information that they got, not the right information. So as a top manager, you must have this information roles which you must clearly given the instruction to your manager, and they must understand. Not given instruction is one thing, Whether the manager understand or not as another thing. These are what we're trying to emphasize here. Okay. So next time when you run business, just don't say one or two words to your assistant. Expect he understand what you say. Especially you need to tell them immediately, and if possible, ask them to repeat what you say and see whether they can understand what you say. Then only you say, okay, you can go and ask the next person to do for you. Just give instruction and they keep quiet. I can tell you, in my experience, yeah, they may understand half what you say, they will give wrong information. To not understand your assistant manager or your down people understand, always ask them to repeat, to tell you back what your instruction. If they tell you back, then you can see he can understand what that you want. That's where your information rules is effective. Otherwise, you can get haywire until the production lines complete. Decisional roles. Assist manager in making decisions that involve problem analyze and take advantage of the opportunity. So we always say when there's a problem, there's an opportunity. There's no problem without opportunity. Don't worry about problem. I like to have problem every day in my life so that I can think and solve the problem, and there's always opportunity in there. So that's what we're trying to see here. So if managers want to make decision to solve problem, analyze it, and in between there's always a solution and make and gain advantage of that. They always say that in the cloud there's always a silver lining. You understand? If you can understand. So in business we call it, when there's a problem, there's a business. Not many people may say that, but I said that, and a lot of business people understand what I said. If there's no problem, no business. If no business, why you want to learn business? Can you understand what I want to say? Yeah. So we need problem to have business. So don't worry about the problem, because that problem will generate business for you. Okay. Okay, interpersonal role. We said the figurehead. Here we're talking about the CEO of the company, the chief executive of the company. Represent organization in managers company as a head of unit. The head lah, the kepala lah, yeah, the head. Like in a school, the headmaster lah. In university, the vice chancellor lah. In a company, they call it chief executive officer lah, that kind of thing. So that is the number one. Then we go to the leader, a person who responsible for hiring, training, and motivating subordinate in the organization. As a figurehead, your job is also a leader. Eh? You have to hire people, fire people, motivate people, all the people under you, your subordinate. Liaison, a person who perform and interact with other people outside organizations such as. So first thing, as a figurehead, you are the leader of the organization. Then you have also a liaison. You also a leader or have to liaise with outside your organization. Your suppliers, your buyers, all the government sector, you have to get license from the government. All these things is also your job as a figurehead, as the head of the organization. Okay, that in that process, that guy must have, or what we call it, interpersonal rules. Role as a figurehead, roles as a leader in the organization, role as to liaise with the other people outside the organization. That's what the understanding here. Information role. So monitor. The leader also must monitor, seek and receive information from internal and external environment. Disseminator, you have to disseminate the information. I'm sorry, you have to filter the information. Manager will transmit information received to the employer. So when you receive information from outside, because you the liaise with the external government, for example, the government come up with new ruling. So this new ruling, you have to understand it and then disseminate it, pass it, simplify the government ruling to your subordinate. So you filter it, then disseminate it to your manager. And then spokesperson, manager as spokesperson will transmit information to outside. And then you also become a spokesperson to the outside the organization. Just now as I said, as liaison or spokesperson, same thing lah. Yeah. So is the extension of the information roles of the head of the unit, the chief executive officer. Okay, so to mention role, next step, decision role. Yeah, decision role. Okay, what is decision role? Entrepreneur. Think as an entrepreneur. If you are a CEO of a company, CEO of a organization, you must think as entrepreneur. What is entrepreneur? You must think as a business people lah. If you think like the government servant working in the government, then you cannot become a CEO of organization. Our CEO of organization must think as a business people, or we call it here entrepreneur. Yeah, you think like those government, we call it these are administrator. They are not business people. Okay, then resource allocator. You allocate your resources within your organization. After filtering the information, managers will transmit information referees to the employees. Yeah. So whatever information you have, so you have to allocate it to different employer. This manager, marketing manager, production manager, resource manager. So you are the one to filter and disseminate to the correct party within your organization. So this job we call it resource allocator. Yeah. Then disturbance handler, responsible for corrective action when the organization feels important unexpected disturbances. For example, there's a riot inside the factory. People don't not happy with the management or with the policy of the company. So you as a CEO have to handle it. So to handle and explain whatever problem, whatever dissatisfaction by the workers. So that type of job we call it disturbance handler. You handle the disturbances happening inside your organization. Last one is negotiator. Responsible for representing the organization in major reorganization. This one is more the outside organization lah. Is now we call it as a liaison or negotiator. Wherever you have to get the license from the government will say no for you to apply certain approval. So you have to negotiate with the government. Then you have to negotiate with your buyer. Sometimes the buyer don't agree with your product. How you going to negotiate for them to agree to buy your product? This is the role of the CEO. We call it as a negotiator. Plus all the other thing that he has to negotiate outside the organization. Okay, so in summary, what we have studied for today from the learning objective. Number one, the concept of management, how the management is all about. And then the management function here, the function of managers from the top level, middle level, and lower level. And then managerial performance, how you measure performance, how you measure the manager effectiveness, we have already explained. Level and skill of manager, we have already explained to you. Yeah, different manager, different level, and different skill needed to run the organization. Yeah, and then the last one, the management manager roles lah, which we explained to you. Yeah? This is more theory lah. So that's it for this chapter 1. So in the class, you will continue with the lecturer to discuss further. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.